Why does everybody look so happy? Try to be a little more serious, would you? Hare Krishna. Welcome to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. This is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and the founder is His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who's seated upon this ornate seat, which is a seat occupied by those who represent a sampradaya. Sampradaya means the complete gift. Perfect timing. Thank you very much. And the perfect gift is that which brings us back to our original consciousness, which is called Krishna consciousness. There are various other levels of consciousness that we experience through the medium of a material body, as an example. And when we're in contact with the lower energies of the world, as Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumirapo analovayu kamano buddhir evacha ahankara ityame binna prakritir ashtada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego, then there's a struggle because we're subtle, and the material nature, even the subtlest of material nature, is gross in comparison to us. That which is more subtle cannot enjoy or appreciate or manage reasonably those elements which are less subtle. There is a natural state of consciousness in which we're fully aware of our constitutional position as spiritual beings, and when we're specifically in relationship with Krishna, who's the supreme spiritual being. So all that is philosophical. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Pratyaksha-vagamam dharmyam. True spiritual life should be directly experienced. And in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we are following the process. A practice, an integrated process in which one can live one's life and add the tenets of Bhakti Yoga so that one feels direct contact with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Consciousness. And that can be done through a process we call devotional service, sometimes called Bhakti Yoga. One of our first temples that we were near just yesterday was in Campbell on Union Avenue. We had a storefront there, and the only sign on the outside it said Bhakti Yoga. And sometimes people would show up there with their yoga mats, eager to do some yoga there, and we'd welcome them to roll out their mat. But we weren't presenting any asanas at that time. And they'd sit and listen. Oftentimes, at least one time I remember someone came, and even though they looked slightly disappointed that there was no hot yoga going on, they sat and listened to the chanting and to the class. And I could see afterwards that they were somewhat transformed. In the tenets of Bhakti Yoga, there is a transformation that can take place quite noticeably in one's life. Beginning by hearing, engaging in listening and participating in chanting Krishna's names, and also hearing from the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. To that end also, our organization here in Silicon Valley is dedicated to the distribution of such literatures as the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. And is Malini here? I forgot to give you this. It's been a while, but this is an award that was given to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. It says Book Distribution Award 2024, Regional Achiever Award. This award is presented to ISKCON of Silicon Valley for receiving the highest number of book points in North America. Maybe somebody can take care of this. There's another one in there too, but I'll tell you what to do with that one later. It's not for us. But the devotees here, I think they're so absorbed in doing the service that they didn't even notice they got an award and they never asked me about it. And I was busy traveling, so I didn't hand it over. They were busy moving on to 2025 and being absorbed in that. And it is quite absorbing. Going out into the public here in the Bay Area and meeting people is surprisingly uplifting. For instance, yesterday we made an excursion out into Campbell near our old temple. First thing I realized was it's really far away compared to where we are now. And the people were quite pleasant there, and there was a nice mix of people. One person in particular that I remember was when we went to the Prune Yard apartment building that seemed to be in the middle of nowhere, and we knocked on a door. It was the first door we knocked on. You were there, Flag. And it took a couple knocks before the man came out, and it was apparent that he had been consuming a meal. And I'm not sure if it was breakfast or lunch, because I'm not privy to people's sleep patterns. In any case, he came out, and he didn't reject us at all. He didn't go away. He stayed there at the door and listened to everything we had to say, which included a standard presentation of the Bhagavad Gita. And we had an added advantage yesterday that it was June 21st. I don't know if you know this or not, but in 2015, the Honorable Narendra Modi had established through the United Nations International Yoga Day. Yesterday was International Yoga Day. So, Haribol. So we told people, we're here for International Yoga Day under the auspices of the United Nations. Narendra Modi started it. It's a good preamble. In any case, he took the book. I told him he looked like George Clooney, which he did. And he said, I should have given more for that one. In any case, when he closed the door and the Bhagavad Gita went inside his house, we all felt a sense of satisfaction that his house had been an ordinary dwelling before we arrived. I mean, I'm assuming, maybe assuming a lot, but it was an ordinary dwelling. He might have had some publications of news magazines or something, maybe some source of information from the outside world, maybe internet, most likely internet, or other sources of information. But maybe he was missing information from Krishna, but now it was in the house. It's a pretty sneaky delivery system because books look innocuous. People see books and they think, yeah, I recognize that, that's a book. What they don't know is that it's also a manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if Krishna comes into your house, then your life may change. What to speak of if you open the book and you look at it and read it? These are some of the activities here at ISKCON Silicon Valley that keep us really busy. are holding festivals. We have perhaps more festivals in ISKCON than any other spiritual or religious organization in the world. I have the sense, because we started a newsletter a few years ago with the help of Prem Dham Prabhu called Sacred Times, and our endeavor was to document every Vaishnav event that's on the Vaishnav calendar. There is no week in the year that there's not several events on the Vaishnav calendar. And when you elaborate upon them, it becomes apparent that there's a lot going on the Vaishnav calendar that one can celebrate and remember. So we celebrate big festivals here. It's a source of inspiration, devotees coming together for service and taking part in festivities that are especially joyful. They're the kind of activities that most people are eager to join into, but don't have the side effects that other kinds of revelry have in the material world. Oftentimes people combine intoxication with their dancing to make it more lively, or to feel less inhibited to dance. But here, we have no inhibition about dancing. That's kind of nice, isn't it? I mean, most people would think twice about dancing down the street. But I was in San Francisco recently at Bhakti SF, and it's such a lively place. The devotees there are so good-hearted and enthusiastic. They said, let's go from here down to where the old temple used to be, and we'll have a kirtan all the way there. And we piled out of the building onto the street, and there was an especially enthusiastic kirtan that went for 5 blocks with devotees dancing, and I felt as if I was in a movie. Because oftentimes when people produce movies, especially in the 80s and 90s, they always used to include some Hare Krishnas dancing along. I felt nostalgic for the chanting and dancing, and I was thinking, we're not very inhibited. We feel free to dance down any major street. In fact, we were in New York last week, and we went to the Rath Yatra ceremony, and we danced down Fifth Avenue. Not many people dance down Fifth Avenue. They're pretty absorbed in shopping. What? In the rain. Singing in the rain. Dancing in the rain. Splashing in the puddles of Fifth Avenue. Devotees seemed unaffected by the weather. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that the weather may come and go. Matra sparshas dukontaya shitoshna sukadukada agama paino nityas tamsatiksha shvabharata. Just be tolerant. And that's one level that you tolerate the comings and goings of nature or annoying people, more likely. But when one has festivals and dancing and chanting, it's not that you're tolerating them as much as you don't even notice them. Did you guys notice it was raining in New York City? Not so much. Only when the sewer overflooded, I heard Madhuri Saki go, oh! But really we don't notice that much because, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm paraphrasing, renunciation means you have somewhere better to be. When you always have somewhere that you'd rather be than something that's inferior, then you are naturally renounced through your life. You don't even notice that you're going through the complex situations of life because you always have somewhere better to be. That's one of the reasons devotees like to take vows, because, as an example, devotees take a vow. I've heard them say it many times. They say, I vow to chant at least 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day for the rest of my life. Have you ever heard that? Yes. What was your impression when you heard that? It means once they've taken the vow, they have a valid excuse to opt out of all other activities that are less desirable. And even if they do desire them, they still have to take time to chant. And they miss out on the inferior activities of life. One can literally skate through this lifetime unscathed by the brutality of the world. What's more, as a philosophy, devotees consider that human life, and there's several metaphors for it, is a probationary period. That's one way of looking at it. It's an opportunity to grow. And consider a child who's growing and developing psychologically. At a certain point, the child will be eager to venture out on her own and look around and investigate the world without the aid of a parent. Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was just noting that, weren't you? That you notice when kids grow up, at one point they're holding on to their mother or father's leg, pant leg, wherever they go, walking along. And at another point they're saying, see you later, I'm going another direction, right? And this is natural development. And there's a way in which parents will oversee the activities of their child when they're in that stage and give them flexibility, offer them flexibility to explore, to a certain degree, the environment. They may not caution them at every step. Don't touch that, don't move there, don't go in there. Because, of course, extremely dangerous situations excluded. But they may watch and see how they interact, and when something spills, when something startles them, they know for themselves. That means the parents giving a modicum of free will. Am I correct in assuming this? Is this resonating with parents in here? Are there any parents in the room? Okay. So Krishna does something similar. This world is an opportunity, and very specifically in the human form of life, where Krishna gives this modicum of free will. So we can explore for ourselves, we can experience the joys and sorrows of the world for ourselves and see what duality feels like. He gives us that. Without that, we wouldn't learn, and we wouldn't experience for ourselves, and we wouldn't come to a level of awareness that I have some responsibility in the way I interact with the world. Maturity means that one takes responsibility for one's free will and comes to a point of understanding that there's causality and there are consequences to whatever I'm doing. Unfortunately, becoming mature in any context requires some trials. And we may experience trials in this lifetime, but there is a liminal state in which the child is breaking away from the parents, but at the same time very much attached, right? And so at that stage, if the child, for instance, walks into a room, parents watching over, the child tips something over, there's a crash and a boom and a whang. The child may look at the parent and think, or indicate through they may glower at the parent, possible, say, why'd you let me do that? Why didn't you protect me from that? And of course, a parent can't protect the child from every single circumstance because the child, first of all, doesn't want that. But still, they may be in that state of being attached and wanting that complete guarantee that nothing bad will ever happen to me. But the parent also knows that the world is full of duality, and there's ways in which the child has to learn for him or herself. And in a similar way, when we're maturing in devotional service, we will likely experience a period when we are somewhat resentful of whatever reversals or sufferings we may go through in this lifetime. And we may even look at Krishna askance and say, why are you doing this to me? But if he didn't allow us the opportunity to execute some free will and experience it for ourselves and come to gradually a point of maturity in which we understand the nature of the world and our relationship with it, and our relationship with Krishna, who's our ever benevolent parent, at least in this context. Benevolence always there, but parent may change for other reasons, Vaisesika and so forth, or relationship may change. But existentially, we have to mature and come to a point, we will mature as we continue in devotional service, and come to a point that Brahma came to himself when he declared to the world that I realize how my interaction with the world is a lesson for me in how to utilize my free will. And I become aware, I'm more sensitive to how I interact with others, how I interact with the world, and accepting of whatever situation I'm in now. What's more, there is a point in which, in developing spiritual Krishna consciousness, that one doesn't experience suffering the way one may have previously experienced it because of feeling internally engaged in Krishna consciousness and seeing whatever happens as an advantage, not as a disappointment. That's maturity, or the growth of maturity in our consciousness. And what if everybody in the world had such an awareness that the world was a classroom? I read this morning about how Maharaj Parikshit interacted with Bhumi, the representative of the earth planet, personified as a form of a cow, and Dharma, represented by the bull. And they had both been assaulted. I won't go into the details, except to say of the assaults. But when Parikshit Maharaj asked who assaulted you, they wouldn't answer. He said it's complex. And it is complex. There are 5 factors of every action. And ultimately it's the supersoul, Krishna, overseeing. But why would he allow us any adverse condition in life? Well, partly because we're out of place. And if one says, why can't you make the material world the spiritual world? That's like saying, why can't you make a circle a square? There isn't any logic to it. In fact, there is a logical system of knowledge, and it includes what I started with. There's an inferior energy and a superior energy, and we belong to the superior energy category. Although, very interestingly, we're also in a liminal state called Tasta, which means we could go either way. How liminal is it? Lim actually is a Latin word, and it means the edge. We're always on an edge. We can go one side or the other. How easily can we go? Very easily. One side or the other. And that's good news for those who become aware of the categories of energy and where the beneficial spot is for us in the universe and beyond. And then realize that there's a way of connecting to that on a regular basis. So that's Krishna consciousness is that means by which one stays in connection with the superior energy. And it's not so hard. We come equipped with everything necessary. Tongue, thrown in free. Human body, here you go. We'll give you the tongue standard. Ears, don't look too long at the mirror. In the mirror of your ears, you'll freak out. You'll start thinking, I really look weird. But they're there to catch sound vibration, and we can use our free will to catch spiritual sound vibration. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, if I can roll along a little bit more, Krishna gives us some encouragement. And he also gives perspective about where we are in the world and where we might go. That's helpful also. Because if we're resigned to this world as the ultimate goal, it could be a big letdown. What do you think? Okay, 3 people said yes. Everybody else is happy to pay high prices here in the Bay Area. You like your property tax, I gather. So, 5 verses in the beginning of the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. It's a little enigmatic. You get to the end of the chapter 15, and the second to last purport, Prabhupada says, the problem one has to overcome to attain happiness and spiritual consciousness, or something in reverse order, is to overcome weakness of heart. That's WOH. Woe, the weakness of heart. And then he says, the first 5 verses of this chapter describe how to overcome weakness of heart. They aid us in doing that. So you really have to think about it. The first 5 verses in the chapter 15 describe how the material world is a reflection of the spiritual world, and how we're lost within. He gives this metaphor of the material world as being a tree, an unlimitedly large banyan tree, and we're lost, so we can't see the perimeter, we can't see where we are in it all. We just know we're there. Which reminds me of the story of Puranjana when he meets a young woman in a park. This is in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And things seem to be looking up. And so he meets her. And he said, "Where are you from?" She said, "I don't know where I'm from. All I know is I'm right here." And this is the awareness of people in the material world. They're born into a particular place, and it's, where are you from? Kansas? What about before that? And where will you be in 120 years? Nobody has any idea whatsoever. And so Krishna gives us this perspective that it's okay. You're in a entangled state. You're lost also. You don't even know it. That's also startling. When you realize I've been lost and I didn't even know I was lost. And he gives this directive that you can cut down the tree of the material nature, and then you're free to go. Would you like to be free to go? Did you ever hear it in a class when you were bored out of your mind and the teacher said you're free to go? How did you feel then? Yeah, and the living entities, believe it or not, are bored out of their minds. That's why they scroll and do all kinds of other crazy stuff here in the material world. And Krishna comes along and says, let's cut out all the nonsense and free you up from the stupidity of the material world. And then you'll be free to go to the place where you'll be eternally happy. So he gives a few directives. Would you like to hear them? Because these can become extremely useful in our adjustment of our lives and our consciousness in order to go on that journey back home, back to Godhead. So first one, he says, nirman. So ni means without, as in nihilism, to extinguish something completely. And man means a sense of false proprietorship or pride itself. And so Krishna advises nirman, give up the sense of ownership over the world. It's also advocated for in the beginning of the Sri Upanishad, Ishavasyamidam sarvam, tena tyaktena, punjita. It means everything animate or inanimate within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things knowing well to whom they belong. And nirman, it also has to do with this sense of I'm the center of everything. We have a phrase in America, you be the man. And so nirman means don't do that. Don't think I'm the man. Be near man, nirman. Be our man. Our man's okay, but not the man. So that's a deliberate positioning of oneself in the universe, a different relationship we have with others. Don't consider yourself the master, the servant, although you may take mastership as a service. That's a wider topic. But be careful and notice that when you're in the mood of service and you take yourself out of the center, you feel naturally well-adjusted. Nirman. Moha, don't accept things that are temporary as permanent. Don't invest in that which will be here today and gone tomorrow, because it will really disappoint you. And Krishna uses the word jitta, jit. It means to conquer these things. So devotional service and taking up spiritual practice can be heroic. You actually take a stance. You take a stand. If you don't stand for something, as they say, sorry about this, you'll fall for anything. And Krishna invites us to stand up, be strong. In other language, in the 3rd chapter of the Gita, he says, Evam buddhi param buddva samstabhyatmanamatmana jahishatra mahabahu kamarupa durasaram. He's telling Krishna, Arjuna, stand up and fight for conquering over the lower self by the higher self. So nirmana moha jitta sangadosha. Give up false association with the world. Adhyatma nitya. And find out about transcendental knowledge. What that means is read the Bhagavad Gita every day. If you want to have a nice day, read the Bhagavad Gita. If you like getting confused and disturbed, then just don't read it. Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama. Kama means desires that can't be fulfilled. And that's also the craziness of this world, is trying to fulfill a desire that will never be fulfilled. And so he says, give this up. It's permission to not engage in what most people do. Adhyatma nitya vinivritti kama. Dvandvar means duality. Dvandvar means don't see anything separate from your highest interest in life, which is to serve Krishna. Don't have a dual identity. Don't have cognitive dissonance and try to play both sides. Just be absorbed in Krishna and get everything from Krishna. Consider Krishna your protector and consider him your maintainer. And whatever you do, do it for Krishna. You don't have to do it for anybody else. Even if you do have to do something for anybody else, consider that you're doing it for Krishna. Dvandvar. Give up that sense of duality in the material world. That causes consternation. And then vimukta means to be liberated. Be a liberated soul. Sukha dukkha, sangjai, gachanti. Means now, gachanti means you can go. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitirin yanti pratir vrata, bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti mam yajino pimam. Means you can go wherever you want, little jiva, free to move about the universe. You can go wherever you are able to point your attention, you can go there. And there are plenty of self-help books about that, like Think and Grow Rich. If you want to be rich, just start meditating on it. And then read it to yourself every day and cultivate wealth habits and so forth. Of course, you may be limited by your karma, and that might be disappointing, which is probably the best thing that ever happened to you. Munha means be unbewildered. Padam, situation. Aviyam. Now everyone say tut. What's that? Yeah, that's that. It's a demonstrative pronoun. It's pointing towards where our destination is. And in the ways, oftentimes people try to find a philosophical, in some philosophical systems, people opine that there is no tut. There's no that. There's no there. Everything's just process. And you can't point to any particular person or place that's better than another. It's all the same. But Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives us clarity. He says, nope, there's a place. You can point to it. That's why it's that. It's a demonstrative pronoun. You can point to the Supreme Personality of God and say, that's where I'm going. You can also direct your attention to Krishna, and this is exactly what Krishna is recommending in the Bhagavad Gita, is learn this lifestyle and then direct your attention towards Krishna. That's one-stop shopping. You don't have to go anywhere else. If you put your mind in Krishna and on Krishna, then you won't want for anything. You'll live an opulent life. And you'll also advance towards the supreme destination, because where attention goes, energy flows. And this is the lifestyle of Krishna consciousness. We have to use our free will. It's just a little bit of free will, but if you can become aware of it, notice that you have it and you have choice. And the more that you practice Krishna consciousness, the more you notice that you have free will. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he calls the regulative principles of freedom. The more you're able to regulate yourself in the practices of devotional service, the more you can not only become aware of your free will, but also overcome weakness of heart and relish, and this is a relishment for the soul. Relish using your free will. You use your free will deliberately to serve Krishna. When you think it up yourself, or Krishna gives you the idea, you could serve me or you could serve illusion, and you decide to serve Krishna instead, you'll feel direct reciprocation from Krishna. And that's pratyaksha dharmyam, the perfection of religion, when you feel direct reciprocation from God. It's inspiring. So this is a few ideas about the basic intention and practice of Krishna consciousness. And now we'd like to do an experiment, a group experiment of chanting Hare Krishna. We got this room. We looked for a spot where we could move to, because previously we were locked in a little odd-shaped temple. It was like an L. You could never quite get the right angle in that room. And it was over 108 degrees every day. We had no air conditioner, no prospect for ever getting an air conditioner in our last place. And a pit bull lived on our parking lot and chewed on everybody's shoes. But then we found this place, and it had a wooden floor, which was made for dancing, and a hall that was just big enough for all of us to fit today into to make a chorus. So we're fulfilling the purpose of moving here to this place. And the chorus means that miraculously you can use your voice and your ear, God-given, to sing the names of God. So let's try together. We'll have a call and response. Somebody will call out, and then everyone else will respond, and I volunteer to sing. Now, who gave me this? That was really thoughtful. I'm assuming this is for our deities at home. I mean, to be offered. There he is. Check him out. Thank you. Thank you. This is very, very thoughtful gift. I really like this a lot. It's Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prasharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Veshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So yesterday, we're just walking around, and you find that the earth is a fertile place for spreading Krishna consciousness. Because there's humans walking around everywhere. Humans are in a state of readiness to receive suggestions. Every human is born with presets. It's mechanical, but very subtle. I hate to call it machinery because psychology or the subtle mind, in some ways it's mechanical because all material energy follows some measurable pattern. The more subtle it is, the more difficult it is to ascertain, maybe. But the presets aren't permanent. They can be changed at any time. And Lord Chaitanya told Sanatana Goswami, Maya Mukta Jivara Nahi Swata Krishna Gyan, Jivara Kripa Koila Krishna Veda Puran. That the universe comes with this set of directions through which one can you could reboot. That always helps. But reset the settings that you've brought with you from the last life. I mean, literally, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Shotram Chakshu, Sparshanam Cha, Rasanam Grahanamai Evacha, Atishtayam, Manaschayam, Vishayan Upasevate. You're born in all the settings already in a certain mode. But then we get the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and you can reset those to receive a much higher vibration and be in resonance. Be in resonance. You can detect the spiritual world through hearing when you reset. It happens quite naturally, the reset. It's almost like an overwriting of code. You have code and then you overwrite it. Am I correct? Engineers? Any engineers? You write code, you overwrite it, then it becomes something new. The codes we've inherited from previous lives, the way that the presets are set. I don't like that anymore, it's too redundant. The predispositions we have for this material world can be mollified. They can be readjusted so that you can perceive the spiritual world from this very apparatus that you have. The apparati that are the human bodies are walking stations that can receive information from the spiritual world. And I think I just got a note from there, which is uncanny. And that's documented by Rupa Goswami. Says Sarvo Padi Venir Muktam. He's talking about presets. You come into the world and your senses are lined in a certain way and predisposed towards certain objects. But then by the medicinal process of engaging the senses in service to Krishna, the senses are reset, and then you can perceive the spiritual world. You can perceive Krishna. You can see him in your heart. It's described in the Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, Santak Sadaiva Hridayesha Vilokayanti. Yam Shama Sundarama Chintu Gana Sarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, which means that one who has practiced devotional service and has reset the way that his or her senses interact with the world can see Krishna directly at every moment. So yesterday when we were walking around, practically we thought we were lost or something. We were for a while. We walked the wrong way, but there's no wrong way when you're doing book distribution, because who was it who pointed out yesterday when we stopped that we'd gone the wrong way, then we went the right way, and then because of the delay, we met this guy in his car. He was trying to pull out, but we accosted him. He had a little dog. He was trying to lick my hand when I was handing him the book. He did lick my hand, I gotta admit it. But he was cute. I washed my hand afterward, don't worry. And somebody pointed out we wouldn't have met him if we hadn't gone the wrong way. So in devotional service, when you're doing devotional service, I mean, I hate to say this because it could cause bedlam, but you can do no wrong. If your intention is right, you can do no wrong. And Krishna says as much in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, if you align your intention to serve me, even if you apparently are doing things that are not accepted in society, you're still doing the right thing. Even if you make a misstep, Krishna will make up for it. Krishna says that in the Bhagavatam also. Sopada mulam bhajata priyasya taktanya bhavasa hare priyeshaha. Vikarmayat shot patitam katanchid tunoti sarvam hridi sannivishta. Krishna is so kind, he's there within the heart. And if someone makes a misstep, if he perceives that your intention is well aligned, then he'll help you overcome that situation. It's very difficult to overcome situations in this material, but Krishna helps. So then as we walked along, we saw a nail salon. You know what that is? Anybody know what a nail salon is? It's where you get your nails polished and sometimes painted. And it was packed, really packed. Every station in there must have been at least 15, 20 stations, was full. And people were there in spa mode, getting polished. And it's a good thing. People should be clean and nice. And there was one person on the periphery, right near the door, who was walking by. I happen to know a little bit about nail salons because I've been to a few of them. And most of them are run by some of the most upwardly mobile, charming people on the earth who are Vietnamese people. Somehow Gujaratis have hotels, and at least in California and other states I've been to, Vietnamese have a niche, nail salons. And so there was one woman walking near the door, big mistake, and I leaned in and offered my pranams. And they have such a culture there in Vietnam. I've been there before. We went there to get the Bhagavad Gita printed in Vietnamese. Had to go through an austere vetting process through the government before they give their sticker that you could sell it there. And only through bookstores, not on the street. In any case, she didn't respond adversely, and I handed her a Bhagavad Gita. I asked for a book in Vietnamese, but it was not forthcoming. I mean, I asked the rest of our team for a book in Vietnamese. It wasn't forthcoming. We don't have any? Anyway, she read English, so that was okay. But then I pulled out a card, which I still have in one of my bags, and it had a note in Vietnamese, which I showed to her, and she immediately responded. It was all nonverbal. She responded by going to the cash register and bringing back a donation. And I was thinking, humans are really smart. They can read something and then know exactly what to do and understand it. So we're dealing with really smart entities, humans all over the world, who can not only read something, respond to it, but then they can also read Krishna's words in the Bhagavad Gita and then reset everything in their life. And that's the preoccupation of the Vaishnavas. That's their work. That's what we do. We go everywhere and we give presentations on the Bhagavad Gita. We also distribute it directly to the public so that people have an opportunity to read it for themselves. They will understand it at some point, and then they'll reset, and then they'll be happy. If you've ever freed an animal that was trapped somewhere, have you ever done that, or at least watched it a million times on YouTube? Little animals caught, and people go out there and let's free that little wolf. He's caught in there, or a fox or something, and they let him go, and then he looks around for 1 second. Did you really let me go? Did you really let me go? And then he takes off into the woods, and everyone's yay, and you go to sleep feeling happy. So the living entities are ensnared in the material world, and they can get free by hearing the transcendental sound vibration of the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And there's no other work that is as satisfying and as beneficial to society as giving this opportunity, just going here, there, and everywhere and helping to free those who are entrapped by the material nature, who are tangled in it, and let them free. Vidyate hridaya grantish, chidyante sarva samshaya, shiyante chasya karmani, jushteva manishvare. This is sense of slashing the knot that's holding us here in the material world, there in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, and the Bhagavatam. Now we'll take a few. Dare we ask for questions? Or are you all tired? And it's been a long weekend. It's been a long 10 years. It's been a long life. Somehow or other we all just keep going because we feel happy. But okay, let's try a couple of questions and then we'll have some more fun. Do you want to ask a question? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Namaste everybody. So my question is, I'm not able to discern whether this is my material wish or my spiritual wish. Like to know it for sure, like I would pursue the spiritual because I like to do that, but I don't know whether that is spiritual that I'm doing or material. Like for example, like moving into a bigger apartment or a smaller apartment. Smaller apartment, the logic goes, oh, we need to simplify life, blah, 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 blah. And if I'm living with amenities, then that is material world. So to know how to distinguish between the two?
A simple formula for making decisions in the material world is to ask, what will be best for continuing my service? Service, as you know better than me, is called seva.
Mm-hmm.
And your seva will save you. And if you hold on to your seva throughout your life, it's like holding a rope that pulls you through all the complex situations of life. The example you gave of where to live. So there's a lot of ways you could calculate. Say, okay, I'm going to make more money over here, but it's going to be a long drive to the temple. Now, draw a line down a piece of paper and say, okay, you have more money, what's going to happen with that? Or if you're close to the temple, you could think every mile you're closer to the temple, it's likely that you'll go more often. You'll get more association. And you weigh back and forth and think about it very carefully. And think, okay, I could show up for my service, washing pots, sweeping the floor, making garlands because I'm closer. Or I could live way far out. I probably wouldn't make it as much, but I'll make a little more money, or a lot more. So then you'd weigh it back and forth, say, what's best for my service? And if you keep asking that question, what's best for my service, when one makes a decision, you'll never make a mistake. Because Krishna will notice your intention, and you'll be perfectly aligned as you go through your life. Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat. Thank you.
Yes. Would you like a microphone? Okay, here you go. We need tech support on aisle 2.
Who makes the Bhagavad Gita stories? Who does?
Pardon me?
Who makes the Bhagavad Gita stories?
Who made the Bhagavad Gita story?
Well, I could tell you
Who made the Bhagavad Gita story, he's asking.
who made the Bhagavad Gita story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, there's different ways of looking at it, but Srila Vyasadeva, who is credited as the editor of all the conversations and information, all the stories that are out there, he helped to put them together, compartmentalize them so that we could read them. So you can give most credit to Srila Vyasadeva. That's why before we read the Bhagavatam, we chant a verse.
What is that?
Srimad Bhagavatam? See me afterwards. I'll get you set up with a set of Bhagavatams. Just, we take, you know what Venmo is? Good questions. Thank you very much. I like it a lot. Yes. 1, 2.
What is the difference between a material wish and a spiritual wish?
A material wish and a spiritual wish? Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahman yadaya karamani sangam tyakva kurotiya lipitena sapapena padma patram ivambasa. When your wishes are to serve Krishna, then it's a spiritual wish. And when you wish to serve yourself, then it's a material wish. And when you wish to serve Krishna, then Krishna will help you. In all cases, he'll help you to fulfill your wishes. But when you fulfill wishes to serve Krishna, you'll get more service to him and you'll feel satisfied. Hiranyakashipu, familiar? He had a wish. What was it? Do you remember?
To be immortal?
Yeah, he wanted to be immortal. And I think he had some ideas about dominating the world and controlling others. I mean, that came out later in his life, that he really interfered with a lot of other people's lives. He didn't let Gandharvas dance or sing. He didn't let the siddhas fly around anymore. He didn't let Brahmins light fires and do sarah. He really was a controlling type of person. And Brahma said to him before he gave him the benedictions and trying to fulfill his wishes, that you shouldn't ask for things. You shouldn't wish for things and then ask for them that you can't maintain happily. And Brahma hinted when he tried to fulfill Hiranyakashipu's desires and wishes out of a sense of obligation. He said, you won't be able to maintain this. So when they're material and we try to take things for ourselves and fulfill our own wishes, then it may be burdensome, and we can tell that they're material wishes because they're simply for us. Now, there is a case to be made that if you wish to have something that seems to be material, but you're going to use it in Krishna's service. For instance, I know people in this very community that have purchased houses. Now, someone say, well, that's a very materialistic thing. Why don't you just live in a van or sleep under a tree? But the devotees need a place to sleep so they can be healthy. They can do their service. What's more, they might have thought when they bought the house that they want to have people over so they can have a pleasant environment in which to learn about Krishna consciousness. Now, what would you think? Would that, buying a house and your intention was to have people over to learn about Krishna consciousness, what would you say? Would that be a material wish or a spiritual wish?
A spiritual wish?
Yes, exactly. Well, just don't put a question mark on the end because you're answering me, right? So don't say a spiritual wish like a question, just say it like a statement. If somebody buys a house and they're going to use it to invite people over to have prasadam and kirtan, and that's their intention, along with being healthy so they can go on with their lives, is that a material or spiritual wish?
A spiritual wish?
No. Try it again. A spiritual wish.
A spiritual wish.
Correct. Very good. Okay. Sikeshwari.
I wanted to introduce Ivan and Ishan and Lena. They're new to ISKCON as such since last week. They started with summer camp, and Ivan has tons of questions. One of the most important questions he asked is, every day we do DT, understanding the DTs. He said, I want to see him. I want to see him. I said, you're seeing the DT? Yeah, I know. I want to see him. I said, you mean physical, like walking, talking? Does he do that? So I said, yes, he does. But we got to get ourselves trained. So he's super interested. So just wanted to make sure everybody...
Say their names again.
Ivan and Ishan.
Who's
Ivan is the person, a boy who asked you the question. Ivan is the one who
How do you
has lost
spell
it.
your name? I-V-A-A-N. Ivan. Nice to meet you, Ivan. I'm Vaish. Nice to meet you. Okay, and I'm assuming this is your brother.
Ishan.
Ishan. That's a great name, too. Nice to meet you, Ishan. Who's older? You're older. By how much? 1 year? Very good. And Mataji, your name? Lena. Lena? It's a pleasure to have... Any more of you? 3. It's a real pleasure to have you here. I could feel the enthusiasm from the front row, and thank you very much for being here. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Okay. Now, if you'll be so kind to take, yes, Vijay Prabhu. Please pass a microphone to quadrant B.
Thank you for another wonderful class. I wanted to introduce everyone to a new guest here, Joshua. I met on book distribution. He got Prabhupada's books, and he's experiencing a nice time here.
Nice to meet you, Joshua. May I ask where you're from?
Well, I met Vijaya at Stanford, but my story is really long. I'm from New Zealand, India, UK, Australia, and now America.
Hey.
And I love all that you talked about. I had a really long conversation, and I agree with you. Accountability is so important. It's what it means to be aware, and I loved everything you spoke about. So
I like the way you just put it, though. Accountability is what it means to be aware. That's a mantra we can take with us.
thank you. But it's been awesome, and I will be coming back more often. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. We look forward to getting to know you. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, speaking of getting to know, yes. Quadrant A. It's coming. 7 seconds or less, or your money back.
I wanted to express my deep gratitude for the presence of His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, who is the author of the books from which we have the Saturday morning presentations by the youth. And many of us have heard about his name from the children and his books, but he's present here personally, so wanted to take this opportunity to welcome him and to also introduce those who don't know him personally that he's the person we are referring to.
I just wanted to
can say
mention one
that-
more thing, Prabhu,
Okay.
after you.
No, I don't want to interrupt you. Please go ahead.
I just want to mention that Sankirtan is heart for ISV, and Bhagavad Seva project wouldn't be possible without Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. He contributes more than half of it.
Well, I know Gauranga Darshan Prabhu's voice very well because for our shloka memorization, he recorded many of the sets of shlokas, and I have them pretty much going constantly in my room, and I really appreciate the quality of the way you've presented them. But I found out more and more about Gauranga Darshan Prabhu being around Radhanath Maharaj because he had extremely meritorious things to say about you. And then we were just having a conversation before this program, and Prabhu was talking about his interest in developing the youth of the Krishna conscious movement all over the world. And I found out more about how involved that you've been in that for a long, long time. And I deeply resonate with that. And also, he was talking about his childhood and how he grew up in a family where they would take regular breaks for 40 minutes to chant Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Purush Sukta, Vishnu Sahasranam Stotram, and so forth. And I was thinking of how in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Karabhajana Muni mentions that from the places in India where the holy rivers flow, special souls would come into the world to help spread the Krishna consciousness movement. Prabhupada always recognized when somebody had a deeply spiritual background, already had sadhana in their life from the time they were a child, and he exalted them and saw that they would be a great benefit for the whole world. So I see that in you, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. Thank you very much for being a bright light in the Krishna consciousness movement, traveling all over the world, and just by showing your example. Hare Krishna. Well, we have a few minutes before the artik, so the best part of our program is coming up. It's the Hare Krishna dance party. And for those of you who have any anxieties in your heart, there's a technique that when we come to the next kirtan, where I'll be standing up facing the deities, during the time when you're singing, whenever you feel like it, you can put your arms in the air like this. Just try it now. It opens your heart. Any of the birds that are nested there, birds of anxiety, they'll fly away. If you want to also, that is, if you know how to keep time, you can clap your hands. I mean, just to the music, when you hear the kirtan. Then they really fly away. And before we have the kirtan, which will be at the top of the hour, please stand up in a moment and you can put away your asanas, and then please meet somebody that you have never met before. And we are monitoring. We have facial recognition for who you've met before. So meet somebody and introduce yourself mutually from somebody you haven't met before, and just ask a simple question of, why did you come here tonight? And by the time that's finished, we're going to start another kirtan right here on the dance floor. Yes?
So, one last announcement.
Yes.
So the youth are invited to meet His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu from 5:45 to 6:30 in the Krishna room.
Okay, it's all happening in the Krishna room. Haribol. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsingadev, let everybody in the next, if you so desire, please guide everyone in this room in the next 4 minutes to meet somebody they haven't met before and become inspired in Krishna consciousness. Thank you for considering our request. Everyone agrees with this prayer, in whole or in part, please say Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpaduruscha kripasindave vacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. We'll see you back in 4 minutes. Hare Krishna. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ishtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ishtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Nanda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Gangamai Jamunamai ki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. Please be seated. May I request devotees to squeeze in so we can make sure everyone has enough room. Everyone is welcome. And can we help Grandpa to get a chair in the back? Thank you. Shh. Shh. As every year, we celebrate Bhaktivinoda Thakur's marathon, and yesterday we had many devotees go out on book distribution, and ISV's motto is no one is left behind. So we are actually going to have Malini Devi Dasi, who is our Sankirtan leader, come and let us know what's happening at ISV.
Thank you, Hansupriya. Thank you for your kind attention. Bhaktivinoda Thakur Disappearance Day is this Wednesday. And every year at ISV, this is a big event. ISV book distribution saw a big explosion when we started with Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Disappearance Day festival, where our first MSF was MSF of 300 devotees. And when that MSF goal was set, we were all worried, how can we get those 300 devotees out? It was a big challenge and a big marathon. But because we surrendered to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we saw every MSF for Bhaktivinoda Thakur every year, all the goals were smashed. So every year, that's why we celebrate this Bhaktivinoda Thakur's MSF. And for this, as part of this MSF, we want to give an opportunity to everyone to help promote and increase book distribution. And today we have a very quick fundraiser where we wanted to give an opportunity where you can sponsor a set of Srimad Bhagavatam. By the way, why are we doing that? Because for Bhadra Purnima this September, as a team, all of us, Team ISV, has committed to distribute at least 3,800 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. And all the sets that are distributed, all of the sets, many of them are distributed in North America. And we are also sending some books, some sets of Srimad Bhagavatam outside of America, which is South America, India, Russia. And we sent to many countries. And I wanted to share a quick story about what happened to the sets that went to South America, very quickly, 2 seconds. South America, in some of the countries, it's not legal to send books, especially Srimad Bhagavatam sets. So devotees there, because many of you sponsored sets with South America, they sent a video where we smuggled the books, keeping it under the deck of the boat. And there were 2 devotees who transported the books from the main place through the rivers, which are dangerous, by the way, and they reached the destinations wherever devotees wanted them to go. And the devotees there who received the sets, they were all in tears because they were looking for Srimad Bhagavatam sets for many years. So this is an opportunity open to everybody. You can, if you would like to sponsor a set of Srimad Bhagavatam for North America, it is $250 only. By the way, that is just our shipping and printing costs. We don't make much money out of it. And if you want to send outside of North America, it is $200. We also send it to many villages in India where people are getting these books, these sets of Srimad Bhagavatam, and they are able to transform their lives, and they are able to connect back to their roots. So if you'd like to sponsor, Prabhu.
His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu sponsoring 2 sets for North America. A little louder, everyone. Haribol.
And by the way, if you're watching online or if you would like to participate and we don't want you to feel left out, you can text 408-515-5292. The number again, 408-515-5292. You can text, WhatsApp, or call. I don't know how it's possible, but you can do text and WhatsApp. You can just raise your hand.
Hare Krishna, we have the biggest donor here.
Murlidhar.
Murlidhar. Haribo. Murlidhar, how many? 5? Haribo.
5 sets for North America. Okay, North America, 5 sets. Priya Kishori, if we can project it if possible. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't be shy. You can raise your hand. I can see every corner. Yes, Gita Priya. I liked your question, by the way, today. 5 sets from Gita Priya. Haribo. Suchitra Mataji, 5 sets. Haribo. For South America. Haribo. Yes. Ashray Madhav Prabhu. 2 sets for villages in India. Haribo. Ashray Madhav Prabhu. Dheera Prashant Prabhu, 1 set for North America and 1 set for India. Haribo. Yes, Gopa. Gopal, 1 set for North America. Nikunja Sundari, she's in house. Generally, she pledges online. 5 sets for North America. Haribo.
If somebody is sponsoring a set, please encourage them by loudly saying Haribol if possible.
Yes, Ramani. 5 sets for Ramani. Haribo.
Okay, while we are waiting for someone in the room, there is Preeti Radhika Devidasi. She wants to sponsor 1 set to India. Haribo! We have a message from,
Vrinda Sevika. 1 for South America. Vrinda Sevika. Haribo.
This is a message from Vicky. She would like to sponsor 1 set for South America on behalf of Premi Mataji and Prema Prabhu.
Haribo.
Haribo! We can send it to any village in India. If you're connected to a village in India, we can send it to that village as well. So please feel free.
Yes, Himangi. Ram, from Ram. 1 set for India from Ram. Haribo.
We only have a couple minutes left. We'll be doing the Shringa Artik, but I wanted to mention that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whose disappearance day will be celebrating soon, and the cause for whom we're distributing these books by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, had a vision that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message would spread all over the world. And from his vantage point in Bengal, he sent out the message of the Bhagavat to many scholars around the world, like Thoreau, Emerson, and to universities. His vision is manifesting in the world now, where we see Krishna consciousness spreading to every continent of the world. It was never imaginable before that, although he envisioned it. But it's not complete. We're only here for a few years, all of us. In the time frame of Mahavishnu, whose exhalation manifests the world and lasts for 311 trillion years. We're here for barely a flash of lightning. So while we're here, whatever we can do for the cause of expanding the Krishna conscious movement, especially the distribution of the Srimad Bhagavatam, goes to our eternal credit. So it's highly advisable to help spread the Krishna conscious movement all over the world. And that's one of the tenets of our organization here in Silicon Valley. Hare Krishna. And based on that, I'd like to sponsor one more set for North America.
Haribo! Ek Chakra Pran Prabhu. 3 sets for Mexico. Haribo! Srivas Pandit Prabhu. 2 sets for India. Haribo! Yes, Akshay. One more Ram is sponsoring for North America. Haribo! Yes, Krishna Sukha Prabhu. 1 set for Jonathan. Hare Krishna from Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Megha, Manya. 1 for North America.
Haribo!
Manya just started her first internship and she's sponsoring it. Thank you, Manya. Haribo. Yes, Prabhu. Anand Swarup Prabhu. 1 set for Latin America?
Yes.
Haribo!
Haribo!
And this is a message from Haldarupa Prabhu. 5 sets for USA for his parents who are visiting ISV today.
Haribo! 1 set for Arushi from Shukarupa's daughter. Haribo!
Okay, this is from Adri Raj Prabhu. He would like to sponsor 2 sets for South America.
Haribo!
This is Nikunja Nayaka Prabhu. 4 sets for USA.
Haribo!
This is from Divya Drishti Mataji. 1 set for South America.
Haribo! And now, because we're almost out of time, we're going to count down from 10 and give everyone a last chance to sponsor who would like to sponsor. Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8.
This is one anonymous donation for South America.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1.
Brajaras Bhavan Prabhu. 9 for South America. Haribo! We should do TikTok.
10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7.
I want to beat Brajaras Bhavana Prabhu, so 10 for South America.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5. Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1. Krishna point 5.
Prem Nitai Prabhu. 5 sets for Raghunath from Prem Nitai Prabhu.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6. Krishna 5, Krishna 4.
There is one anonymous donation for USA.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4.
Yes, Tapomai Prabhu. 3 sets. 3 sets for
Haribo!
USA. Haribo!
Krishna 10, Krishna 9.
This is Ujjwala Rasa Mataji. One set for South America and one set for India.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8.
So this is from Allison to Guru Maharaj and Guru Ma. 5 sets to South America.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1.
Yes, and Premanama Prabhu.
Haribo!
5 sets for Sadhu Vrindavan. Haribo!
Krishna 10, Krishna 9.
Okay, Radhakripa Prabhu is back. He's sponsoring 5 sets to India on behalf of Guru Maharaj and Guru Ma.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna
Yes,
8.
Gita Priya. 9 sets for India. Is she real? Our parents around? All right, 9 sets for India.
Haribo!
Egypt. Haribo.
Egypt. Wow.
Kids who are
Krishna,
going to go Iran or Iraq or Israel, let me know.
Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4.
Yes, Vaisesika Prabhu.
One for Iran.
One for Iran. Haribo.
Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6.
This is an anonymous donation. 1 set for Tonga.
Haribo! Tonga ki jai. Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1, Krishna point 5. Krishna point 1.
Whoa, we have Pyare Charan Prabhu and Jai Kanaya Prabhu. First, go ahead, Pyare Charan Prabhu. 5 sets for India. Haribo. And Jai Kanaya Prabhu. 1 for North America. Haribo.
Krishna 10, Krishna 9.
Are you? Yes. Remind me your name, Han. Parantap. You've grown up so much. Yes, Parantap. How many sets? 1 set for India from Parantap. Hare Krishna.
Krishna 10, Krishna
This will be the last
9,
countdown.
Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1. Krishna point 5.
Flacca would like to sponsor 1 set for South America.
Haribo!
This is also Samrit from Samrit and Deepa. They want to sponsor 3 sets for India.
Haribo!
We have Srivas Pandit Prabhu.
8 sets
8 sets for
We
India.
have a Radha Swami.
Haribo.
Now we're really getting down to the last one. Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna.
This is Vicky again. She wants to send 1 set to China.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2.
Your name? Shivi.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7.
Robin would like to send one set to China too.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1.
Make allows 2 sets for US.
Haribo! Krishna 10, Krishna 9, Krishna 8, Krishna 7, Krishna 6, Krishna 5, Krishna 4, Krishna 3, Krishna 2, Krishna 1.
Yes, Anand Kishore Prabhu. 1 set to India.
Haribo!
Iran. Haribo!
You can personally deliver. Krishna point 5. It's going to end. This is really going to end. Krishna point.
2 sets for
Haribo!
India, Vishal, right? Aditya, Haribo.
We're 1 week away. This is. It's loaded up. Gaur Premanande Haribo.
There was one last text that came in. This is from Tulsi, and this is from Akhil Prabhu. 5 sets for India. And one request, if you have sponsored, pledged, and we don't know you, please see Priya Kishori there and Kumari Leela. Priya Kishori is sitting there. If you can see her and give your contact information, we can send you how to pay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Would you like?
His Grace to the Katha Prabhu's dear father, Sri Ram Prabhu, is undergoing surgery in a couple of hours today. Dear Lord Nrsingadev, if you so desire, please keep Sri Ram Prabhu at your lotus feet and protect him every step of his journey. All the devotees here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley are praying for the welfare of Sri Ram Prabhu. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. And now his granddaughter will sing the Nrsinga Stotram.
Namaste Narasringaya. Namaste Narasringaya. Parito Nashinga, Parato Nashinga. Yato Yato Yamitato Nashinga. Yato Yato Yamitato Nashinga. Vahi Nashinga, Hridaye Nashinga. Vahi Nashinga, Hridaye Nashinga. Vahi Nashinga, Hridaye Nashinga. Narashinga Made Saranam Prapade. Narashinga Made Saranam Prapade. Tavakar Kamalavare Nakham Adbhuta Shinga Kavita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Narahari Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Narahari Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, टाइगर फैमिली।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We welcome you all to the Sunday Feast Festival here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Thank you for taking your valuable time and spending here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. So let's give a big round of applause to everyone who has joined us here tonight. Hare 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 Bo. We also would like to welcome back His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu from his yatra to Europe. Haribo! And also all the youth who had traveled to New York for the New York Rath Yatra. Haribo! And Madhuri Sakhi from UK. Welcome back. Hari Hari Haribo! We'll like to thank His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu for bringing us tonight's discourse, Kirtan. So let's express our gratitude and thank him for bringing us the Krishna Katha and the Kirtan. Hari 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 Haribo! We'll also like to thank Bhakting Niharika for Narsingha Arti. Haribo! Last but not the least, we'd like to thank His Grace Charunimai Prabhu for bringing us the broadcasting of this program. Haribo! I saw a lot of new faces here tonight. Most of them are probably outside. But is anyone here for the first time to the temple? Thank you. I saw you yesterday at the yoga studio. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. Yeah, 2 sisters right there. I met them earlier. Thank you for coming. And if you have any questions or if we could be of any assistance, please reach out to me. My name is Sri Gopal Das or Hanspriya Mataji or Sachindra Prabhu. You will find them outside or around the temple. But thank you. And let's chant one Mahamantra for all our newcomers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have a couple of sponsors for tonight's feast. We'd like to acknowledge them. The first one is anonymous donor for tonight's feast. So let's thank the anonymous donor for sponsoring tonight's feast. Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Bol. And the second sponsor is His Grace Siddhakatha Prabhu is sponsoring on the behalf of his father who is undergoing the surgery today. So let's thank him for sponsoring tonight's feast as well. Is he here? Or Mataji, would you like to come? Hari Hari Bol. Thank you. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah. Many of you know my father-in-law, so he's undergoing surgery. He's already 81 and it's bypass surgery, so we are kind of worried for him. Please keep him in your prayers. Thank you so much.
Hari Bol, Hari Krishna. Mataji. It's a small gift, Hari Krishna and Mahaprasad. So what's coming up next week? This week was eventful, isn't it? Yes, we don't want to end. Tomorrow is Monday and no one wants to go to office, school. Anyway, school is holiday, but no one wants to be at workplace. But what exciting is the next weekend is also full of activities. Haribol. On the popular demand, the Harinam is back again next Friday. Haribol. The Harinam is going to happen again at Palo Alto at Lytton Plaza at the intersection of University Avenue and Emerson Street. So please join with your friends and family, 6:59 p.m. next Friday. Mark your dates and calendar, please. Hope to see you all there. Hare Krishna. And next Saturday is the biggest event of ISV. Any guesses? Oh, okay, no surprise. So it's an ISV picnic. It's a yearly picnic. So the email will go out sometime in a couple of days. Please look out for the email and RSVP so that we know the head count so we can serve you appropriately. So please look out for the email and hope to see you all at ISV picnic. 10:30 a.m. is going to start at 10:30 a.m. The details will be sent out soon. Haribol. Now we will ask Lakshay Prabhu to announce the cooks for tonight's feast.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today's cooking was led by Her Grace Suvarna Gopika Mataji and His Grace Siddhakatha Prabhu, and they were helped by Shruti Mataji, Neeraj Prabhu, Niharika, Anushri, Ramuna, Tanisha, Bhakti, Meghavi Mataji, Praveen Prabhu, Bikram Prabhu, Sahili Mataji, Vashuprada Mataji, Neha Mataji, and Apara Garangi Mataji. Also, Shukmandar Singh Prabhu has been helping in the cleaning since 11:30, and he is still here. So please give him a huge Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Now we will go to Prasad Sevaya prayers, and just after the Prasad Sevaya prayers, you can head out. We will be serving Prasadam in the parking lot. Hare Krishna. Anushri? Okay. Hari Bol.
Sharira Vidyaja Jodindriya Tahirika Jive Fele Vishaya Sagore Dharmadir Jivarati Dobhamay Sudurmati Akirta Kachina Samsare Krishna Barudoyama Tori Bare Jivaja Swaprasadam Ariloba Radha Krishna Gunagao He Mera Ko Shri Chaitanya Nita He Mera Ko Shri Chaitanya Nita Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmane Vaishnavi Swapa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasane Vajayate Prasade Sarva Bhutana Nani Rasya Pujayate Prasanna Cheta Soyasu Buddhi Parya Vakishyate Vayopar Bhutta Shakanda Rasalanka Vakishyate Ista Bhojina Dasa Istavamaya Jayana Shushkam Parishitam Bhakti Nitam Vajradeshata Bhakti Matrina Bhoktavyam Natrakala Vichara Nadeshaniyam Astatra Nakalaniyam Astatra Bhaktamanam Pitam Shishte Bhoktavyam Harirapravi Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasad Ki Gaur Premanande